Welcome back to the channel. There are several ways that one can earn board certification and licensing to practice in the United States. For one to do that, they need to go through medical school. Either you're doing it in the United States or you become a foreign medical graduate. I earned my medical degree through American University of Antigua College of Medicine. I did my first 2 years on the island in Antigua and Barbuda, and then my third and fourth year rotating through the hospitals in the United States. Most international medical graduates that go through the Caribbean route are promised the third and fourth year rotations in the United States, which is needed when applying for residency. On the other hand, there are people that are foreign medical graduate that did all 4 years of medical education or 5 years in their home country or a different country. Now, the main thing here is that the medical school you go to needs to be accredited. It will be unwise for you to go through the process of medical education with all that debt, tuition, and then not being able to practice. Unless you want to stay in that country where you earned that degree, then that's different. But if you want to come to the United States to practice, then that's something you need to look into. In today's video, I have two guests with me, one born and raised in Ghana and got her medical education in Ghana, and the other one in Tanzania. So what we'll be doing here is that we'll be asking them a few questions on the process they went through to earn residency spots in the United States. It can be difficult, but it's possible. If you're new here, my name is Dr. Frederick Acquah. I'm a board certified internist in the United States. I hope you find this video informative. Let's go. Welcome back. So my guests are seated and we'll be asking them a few questions, but with every guest, we want to get to know them. So their name, where they had the education, where they were born, and why medicine. So I'd like to start with Dr. Apia.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Jennifer Apia. I'm actually in my final year of residency in New Jersey. I'm doing internal medicine. So I was born in Ghana, I was raised in Ghana, I had my medical training in Ghana. I actually went to Tech. I did 2 years of house job in Ghana before I finally relocated to the United States, took the board exam, the USMLE board exams, and here I am today. So why medicine? Yep. I chose medicine because I wanted to make money. I'm sorry. That's not the reason. That's not the reason, but it's part of the reason anyway. So I chose medicine because I wanted to help the sick and I wanted to give back to the society.
Perfect. Okay. Dr. Timo?
That's interesting. Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Winnie Temu. I was born and raised in Tanzania. I went to medical school in Muhimbili University of Health and Allied Sciences in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And after I completed, I did my internship in Muhimbili National Hospital, and I was able to do a couple of jobs as a general practitioner before I relocated to the US. And for me, I would say, why medicine? Actually, I found myself in medicine. I just enjoyed physics, chemistry, and biology. And once I got to medical school, that's when I developed a passion to help people.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll go straight into the ERAS application process. So we'll be talking about timeline, requirements. I would like to begin with Dr. Timo.
So for the ERAS application, I would first stress on the importance of going and looking at the ERAS application as everything is there, but also give yourself around 1 to 2 years depending on what is currently going on in your life, and to plan everything, because you need to do the exam step 1, step 2, step 3, and also you need to get your letter of recommendation. You need to do the whether externship or observership in America before all that. So I would say 1 to 2 years is adequate enough. And pertaining to the ERAS application, usually starts in July. So while you're doing all the preps and the exams, you have to watch for the timeline so that you target to submit everything by the timeline. So I would say a year is adequate enough, but also look at other red flags or other things that are in application. For example, old graduates, or if you have any failed steps, you have to consider all this while you're preparing, because if you're an old graduate, you don't want to take more time to do your steps before applying, as when you're doing application, most of the programs, they don't want people over 5 years from the year of graduation. So take into consideration all that is included for the application, the ERAS application, your steps before submitting the application. And
so Dr. Acquah, just to add to what Dr. Winnie said,
Of course.
so basically with the ERAS application for an international medical graduate, it's better to get your USMLE step 1, your step 2, and also the step 3 before you apply, because it increases your chances of getting into residency. However, you do not necessarily need to complete, especially the step 3 before you apply. Sometimes whilst going through interview sessions, you can actually complete the step 3 and send your results over to the program prior to the ranking, which is prior to when the program decide whether to take you to go into their residency program or not.
Okay.
There are also 4 main things that I also want to add. First of all, you need a good picture. You need a well-lit, good background. You need a professional to take your picture. You don't take it for granted, because it's very important and it stands out when you're actually when you're actually being interviewed. Secondly, also make sure you have enough time to prepare for your personal statements. Make it catchy why you decided to do medicine. Also, if there are any red flags, just as Dr. Timu said, you have to also put it in the personal statement, especially when there have been a positive feedback out of the red flag. So for instance, you failed step 1 and you had to retake it. However, your CK is high or your step 3 is high. You can just make something like, because you didn't prepare adequately for the step 1, although you failed, you're able to bounce back and your scores are really high for the CK and the step 3 exams. Also, always get your recommendation letters, whomever you work with, whether you are a medical student, whether you are a resident in your home country, whether you are doing clinical rotation here in the United States. Always get recommendation letters from your attendings or from your physicians. Don't hold it and be like, okay, I'll get them later when I'm applying for my residency program, because by the time you're applying for your residency program, they may not have even remembered you, or they may have forgotten about you.
Importance of US clinical rotations and observership.
So US clinical rotations and observership is equally important when applying for a residency program, and the reason being that it makes your application more competitive, and most programs would want to hire a resident who has a preview about the healthcare system within the United States. Also, with the clinical skills, it could be, with the clinical rotation, it could be externship or it could be observership. Observership is basically when you shadow or you just observe what the attending is doing or the physician is doing. Then the externship is where you take history, you examine the patients, and you discuss your management and findings also with the attending as well. And it does not necessarily need to be a year long. It could be 4 weeks, it could be 3 months, it could be 5 months. Depending on the resources available, you need to get the money. Also, with regards to research papers, you do not necessarily need to do systematic review, you do not necessarily need to do meta-analysis, you do not have to have this big research background. You can do case reports, you can do case studies. What I did personally for me was that when I was applying for residency, I reached out to old graduates like my seniors, my colleagues, physicians who are practicing in the United States, whether via Facebook, whether via LinkedIn, even people that I don't know. Once you're a physician and you are on LinkedIn, I will reach out to you. Some may, 1,000 may refuse, 1,000 may not even reply you. However, maybe about 10 people would reply you. So sometimes even if they are not able to get you the opportunity to do observership or to do externship with them, they can refer you to colleagues. They can also make connections for you. You never know when you're applying for residency and you need people, you need to contact people to get interview spots as well. It all matters as well. So reach out to those people. There are also some forums online online. There is a USMLE. There are several USMLE forums online. There is even one on Facebook as well, which you can also reach out to people over there. And again, there are some programs if you have resources to actually pay. There is one USMLE Sati. They can help you with research papers. They can help you with clinical skills as well. So try to reach out, make connections, because you never know where you would go from there.
Okay.
And in addition to what Dr. Pierre said, I think the clinical rotations in the US will help you with the confidence once you come to residence, because you have to round and see how the clinical system and the whole health system is in the US. So it's gonna give you more confidence once you're in the residence to understand, oh, this is how the hospitals are being run in the US.
What do you think the budget should be from registration, to match day? How much does the USMLE cost and all of that? What will be a good budget that someone needs to set before applying?
So I would say prepare to have like 8 to 10K, and that's US dollars, for the whole process and the whole journey, because you need travels, you need to pay for the examination fees, and some of the externship programs you also need to pay for it. So I would say roughly 8 to 10K US dollars will help you.
Okay. All right.
It could be more. You never know. It could be more.
It could be more, definitely. It could be more.
It could be more. My investment is around 8 to 10,000 US dollars. I'm expecting to have some money. Most Africans like the word saving. In the United States, they expect us to save, but they also expect us to, send some money home to take care of family. How much can an average resident save in the United States during residency? I know every residency salary is different based on the state that you are in the United States. But on an average, what would you say someone can save on a monthly basis?
So as for my experience, I think people can save around $500 per month to $1,000 per month. It just depends on your situation, because some people are supporting their families, some people have wives, kids to take care of. Definitely they're not going to be able to save out of that. But then if you're a single person and you're able to just cater for yourself for basic needs, live in a place that is adequate enough, I think you should be able to save that. Because for my case, I'm able to do around 500 because I'm a married woman, I have a husband, and he's also still supporting and taking care of me. So I think different situations will help you to save or not save. And remember also, as Africans, we have parents and other relatives back home that we are still sending money to. So putting all that into consideration, it will guide you to know how much you need to save and how much you are able to save. But I would stress, don't do too much, don't do extreme, because this is a time to study, and like first year is really serious, is really hard. So I would say don't concentrate on saving, but as long as you are able to cater for your basic needs, you'll make money once you finish your residence. So don't need to stress yourself.
I would say that Dr. Timu is very good at saving, unlike me. I would say approximately between 200 to 1,000. The reason being that it depends on your salary for the residency program. It depends on the state where you are doing your residency. It depends on your expenses as well. And when I mean expenses for a resident, it's actually your needs, your accommodation, transportation, and your food. And also, as Dr. Timu said, back in our home country, you need to support your family as well. So approximately 200 to 1,000 is fine. And to be truthful with you, it's very, very difficult to save in residency.
It is difficult. Looks like we've gone through the questions that were sent to us. Just to confirm, 1 year observation is not necessary.
No, 1 year observation is not necessary, but you need a US clinical experience.
Okay. Before I give the opportunity to my guests to give their shout outs, I want to hear their final words, and if they have any words of motivation for anyone watching us today.
So I would say that once you can dream it, you can actually do it. And especially it's very important as an international medical graduate to really score high on your USMLE exams. You need to take the time to study. There are several resources available for USMLE Step 1. You definitely need first aid. There are some videos available online method. Kaplan, if you have the money, is equally good as well. And definitely you need uWorld. You need the question bank. You need to have an understanding of what you are reading and what the exams that you are going to take is not just memorizing it, because it's very difficult, and you need to also have the stamina to be able to sit for like almost 8 hours throughout the exams and not get bored. It's very, I cannot overemphasize the need for you to score high in the USMLE exams. And I would say that sometimes even when you score low, at least try to do well. Maybe you scored low in the USMLE Step 1, try to do well in the Step 2 CK. And now it's not even low anymore, it's pass or
for Step 1.
For Step 1.
Yeah,
so if you score low in the CK, try to do as much as possible so that you can score higher in the Step 3 exams. Secondly, I would say that immediately after residency, most international medical graduates would finish or would complete their medical school before they start this USMLE residency journey. So I would advise that try to get everything done within 5 years if it's possible. Try to get your research papers, your clinical skills, everything done within 5 years so that you can apply within 5 years. The reason being that if it's more than 5 years, then it sort of decreases your chances of getting into residency, because some programs automatically have filters, so they will actually filter you out of the interview process as well. However, even if it's past 5 years and you've done some clinical work, you've done your MPH, you've done your PhD, you are doing residency in your home country, it's never too late. Once you desire to go through this USMLE journey, you will definitely reach your goal.
Perfect. Okay. Any final words, Akatema?
I would say just don't give up, If you really want to come to the US, don't give up. If you get an obstacle on the way, if you have a failed step, it's not the end of the world. We have seen a lot of applicants who had failed step, and I would say, like, for me and Dr. Pia, we are old graduates, but we were still able to match. So don't give up on your dream.
Just to add to what Dr. Rini said, I actually applied almost 3 times before I finally got into residency. It was tedious, it was hard, but then it was worth it, and I will tell you that it's definitely worth it. You don't need to be a green card holder, you don't need to be a US citizen. Once you are determined and once you are willing to learn and make the efforts, it will pay off at the end of the day.
And something else to add, start early. I think a big setback for the African community, most of us we don't know these things, and we start late. So start early. As your 30 years, you already plan for these things and you're aware that you're going to take the steps.
There's opportunity to go into shout out. I know their success is not just dependent on them. There were other people that did contribute to help them get to where they are today. So I would like to give the opportunity I'll start with Dr. Apia. Any shout outs?
Of course. So I thank God for giving me this opportunity to reach where I am today. I'm finally in my final year. I can't wait to be an attending. Secondly, I want to thank my husband. He's been a good support system. Shout out to Mr. Emmanuel Apia for your hard work. Then thirdly, to my kids, they are my motivation for doing what I do every day. And lastly, to my mom, who has been my prayer warrior since day one.
So for me, I would like to thank God for the opportunity to give me strength, good health during the whole residence time. Second, shout outs to my family, who have always been a good support system too. Even when I came back, I started residency, like, oh, you're going back to school again, but they've always supported me. And as for me, as I moved to the US, I was a newly married woman. In Africa, everybody is expecting you to be a wife. have children and all that stuff. But thanks to my family, my in-laws, they all understood and supported me. And lastly, to my wonderful husband, Godwin Nesta, he has been a great support system in this residence journey.
Perfect. Okay. All right. And I would like to thank you for taking time to watch this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and either of us will take time, read a question, and then respond to your comment. Wish you guys the very best, and I'll see you in my next video.
Bye.
Shalom.
And that process is by going to medical school. Now, to earn your medical degree, either you do it through enjoy this video. Let's go. Alright, so step 2.
Maybe we can do another one, then you sort of. Do you have more time? Let's do another
we have
one.
time?
Then. Yeah, we have time.
12:30.
Yeah, we have
Another
time.
one? Do it
Yeah.
again?
Yeah, then you edit whichever one. You get what I'm saying?
I think this is good.
Okay.
We have time, please. Let us polish it, okay?
You should find
No,
topic.
but this one
Find
was
topic.